What made you start in the first place? Well, there's two ways I can answer that. I can answer that specific to entrepreneurship or to my business. I'll answer it to my business to keep it short and simple. I saw Ty Lopez's ad in 2019 or 2018. When I was 18 or 19. I was not able to afford his course. So what I did was I went ahead and I tried finding it on Reddit. I was fortunate to find it on Reddit. And lo and behold, after a lot of digging, I found it. I went through the whole course when I went to Sydney with my brother for a basketball tournament. Smashed through it, came back from Sydney, touchdown. I started pitching based on what I learned. So that's what started the agency. That's the story in a nutshell. Thanks, Alvin. Tash, what's going on? It's been a minute. I hope you're well. I love your Instagram. I see that you've been putting in work for a lot of the basketball and streetwear scene. I'm very proud of you. Even though we've known each other for only like 3 years, I feel like it's way longer. Just know that people like myself are supporting what you're doing. So much love to you, Tash. Mila, what was your biggest mistake early on? Bro, I made so many mistakes, bro. Okay, we're back. I had a staff member calling me. Yeah, what mistake? There's so many. Like, I quit my job. Well, this is not even a mistake, but there was 2 times when I quit work. I quit my corporate job early to go all in on entrepreneurship. Both times I ended up extremely sick. Like, I went all out, barely sleeping, hustling like crazy. And one of the times I got so sick where I nearly got hospitalized. Other things is, maybe it was the wrong relationship. Other things, maybe it was the wrong roommate. Like, I got all kinds of stories. I've copped more L's. I had an interview with an account manager this morning, and I was explaining like a compensation plan and how many clients we closed per day and the level of the agency that we're at. And I told him I was 26, and he just laughed because he's like, I want to ask questions. And he's an experienced account manager. He's been 10 years in operations. And he's like, but all I can imagine is the amount of pain that you've been through to establish the level of operations that you've created in your commission structure for account managers and to generate that much velocity in sales. And I was like, brother, I've been through it. Don't let the young face and the black don't crack glow like get you twisted. Like, I have been through the mud. I've been through so much more pain than people have probably experienced in like 40 years I experienced by 24. Just last year, I lost like 2 of my closest friends to like street violence. And I still showed up. I edited the video of the funeral. After the funeral, I was editing the video for my other business. Don't always glorify, something when it's from a painful story. You don't always know people's come up. When did things actually start working for you? Look, I tend to lean towards optimism. So things in my head have always been working for me. Like, even when I was bullied a little bit at 12 years old for being a bit chubby. Like, I just started working out way more. And then I became nearly anorexic a year later. And then I just found the equilibrium. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like life is perpetual improvement for me, even when it's an up and down swing. But when did the business actually start working? People don't actually know this. Some people do that know me well. I started my agency in June 2019. We actually got featured in the paper January 2020. So we started to grow really quickly after about 4 or 5 months being in business. I was charging super cheap, like $200-300 a month at the time. But we were growing really quickly to the point where I got featured in the paper. And then what happened was COVID happened. So then I lost pretty much most of my clients. But when did the business start working well again? It was 2023. 2022, I was starting to work with big celebrities like Adekunle Gold. I worked with T-Tom and Yuppie in 2023. I met the guys at Beta Squad in 2023. Kosag popped off, Cody Co, Abbott and Preach were reacting to Kosag in 2023. So 2022 was when I started having bigger name clients. And then 2023 was when my agencies picked up momentum again and started doing the multi-5 figures a month again when I was about 23 years old. So yeah, that's the answer to that question. Hey, one love, Tash, you know that. That's love for real. I'll see you soon, I'm sure. What do you wish you knew at 20? What do I wish I knew at 20? Honestly, I thought at 21 I was going to be a millionaire. I was not a millionaire at 21. It wasn't until last year when my business even had $1 million per year run rate, right? So I was 4 or 5 years off the initial goal, right? And to be clear, liquid, at least in my own personal pocket, I'm not up M's liquid. But my company, yes, the company finally is $1 million per year plus company. Thank God that took so much pain, so much pain. But anyway, so What did I not wish I knew at 20? How long it was going to take. Like, this is much harder and takes much longer than you think, but it's worth it. Like now, we have nearly 50 staff, high five more salespeople as I mentioned. Like, my goal is, like, I can start acquiring agencies because I've played the game so long. I can be like, hey, listen, this is your strengths, your weaknesses. You don't need this, you don't have this or this. I have this or this. Let me absorb your agency into mine. Let's fuse together. You get, your extra 10, 15K a month. But we know how to flip that into another 60, 70, 80K a month. So, time in the market beats time in the market, as Warren Buffett says. And I knew that at 20, but sometimes experience is the greatest teacher. Because now I really know that. Now I've experienced the leverage of that. So I'm grateful that I started at 19, but now I can't wait to see the leverage that I'll accrue at 30, at 35, at 40. I said on a podcast when I was 24 2 years ago, by 30 I want to make 100 million. But and I had specifics of what I was saying, but now even with what I know, I'm like, maybe I was thinking too small. And it's not about the revenue mark, it's more about is that 100 million liquid? Is that 100 million valuation? Is that 100 million in lifetime revenue? Is that 100 million in a year revenue? So one thing I wish I knew at 20 was genuinely how painful and genuinely how long it would take. But I'm also grateful that I had the naivety of thinking it was going to be fast. And some might argue that if COVID didn't happen, it would have happened faster, perhaps. But that naivety was what led to the energy and the consistency, because you keep thinking it's just around the corner. It's just 2 months away. I'm 5 weeks away from my first 10K month or whatever. And that kind of self-indulged thinking you can do it, tirelessly for a long time is what I really think helped push me. I remember being 21, living in an apartment in the city with a roommate, a friend of mine, and I remember my eyes were red. I was in a detox, and a detox of mine was when I was like, no women, don't go to the club, no drinking, don't even listen to music, something extreme. And I remember it was midway through the detox, and my eyes were so red, I was so fatigued, I was playing basketball in Melbourne Uni at the time, and my roommate, he's like, Dami, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm okay. And he's like, your eyes are red, bro, you look really tired. I was like, bro, I have to get rich. And I know it sounds really corny, really, really corny. But it even makes me a bit emotional even saying this, because it wasn't even the money, there was a certain level of freedom, of creativity that I wanted to deploy into the world, but didn't have the resources to be able to do it. And money was the modem to get there, right? So that's what I would, say to the 20-year-old Dami. It's going to take way longer than you think. You're not going to be a millionaire at 21, but when your business does hit that level, when you're 25, it's going to be worth it. But when you're 25, 26, it's being the person that is worthy of doing that is worth the time and the waiting of thinking that it's around the corner. So that's what I'd say at 20. A bit of a long answer, but really good question. What's one habit that makes the biggest difference? Honestly, eating good. Ever since, I had, and it sounds really spoiled, but once I had a private chef, being able to be I want to inject certain levels of food in my body allowed me to operate at a slightly different frequency, because you are what you eat, right? And you are what you consume. So, like I said in that video, once you hit 40K a month, invest into a private chef. I'm telling you do this because you can get outsized returns from putting the right things in your body. So that's one thing, that's one habit that has made a difference. I wouldn't say the biggest difference. When it comes to this high performance in general, honestly, the biggest difference or habit, honestly, is consistency. And I know that's a bit unsexy, but honestly, again, I could have, someone could pass away, God forbid, I'm gonna touch the wall because wooden, someone could pass away, I could go through a breakup. I remember I had a breakup at one point when I was in my early 20s, and literally, the next day, or within 48 hours, I think it was the next day, I was on a flight to record a season for Kwasa. The next day. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't have any sleep because there was some complications. There's always complications when you're in production. Those who know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. I had 100 shit on D&D. Anyway, I had a 50-person cast, etc. And I was it didn't affect, I could feel the sadness, but I was still I gotta get this done. So again, when it comes to the biggest habit, consistency really is the habit, because it accrues skill, it accrues grit, and it also compounds. So the more consistent you are, the more you're rewarded for consistency from 5 years ago. because you're consistent now. Because of the consistency you did before. There's leads that I close now that didn't sign up in 2022, 2023, but now when they speak to new sales guys for my company, they're signing up now because it's like, this kid just didn't stop calling me. And then when he stopped calling me, his team didn't stop calling me. It must be a good service, you know? So consistency is the crucial habit. And of course, giving everything back to God, that's above everything else. Because, you know, if you can't submit to, like, we're humans, in my opinion. So like, whether you're religious or not, there's probably a limitation on what, you know, like, we're human. At the end of the day, we're born and we die. So I think being able to submit to something, you know, for me, I believe in Christ, the Lord Jesus Christ. Whether you believe in God or something, like believing in something bigger than yourself allows you to submit to something, which allows you to stay humble. Otherwise, if you're your best teacher, then it's very hard to stay in a state of expansion and learning. And in order to win, you have to constantly be expanding, otherwise people will kick your ass. What fear still shows up even after success? I wouldn't say I'm successful yet at all. Like, again, revenue is one thing, profit's another thing. Like last month in December, we spent 70 to 80K on the company, like primarily in staff and stuff like that. And this month, it feels even crazy saying this, I wouldn't be surprised if we spent $100,000 a month. But it's not because I want to, it's because I know, and this is what you guys should do as well. This is another tip in terms of the things that will help you. You want to be very specific in what you want, like your day in the life to look like. Like the apartment that I'm living at right now, like what you guys don't understand is that between 21 and 23, nearly every weekend for 2 years, on a Friday or Saturday night, especially when I was doing detoxes, I would drive around Toorak and Brighton looking at properties, looking at apartments, just getting inspired. Right? I can live here one day. I can live here one day. And I'd write meticulously what kind of bed sheets I would wake up on. Would I be sleeping next to a beautiful woman? Would I be driving a cool car? So like, this is a result, a blessing from God as a result of being highly specific. So when it comes to the thing of success, I think success is actually highly internal, because, you know, you might feel like once you see $1 million, say on Stripe, okay, you see it, it's awesome, but it's fleeting. But what's great is the people you built it with, right? So it's to be able to pass on the skill of something to someone else that they can now change their life with, right? So that is what I would say is more important than instead of what shows up after success.